All right, we're looking at planning our practice and deciding where we're going to use our time. Of course, the first thing we need to know is how much time do we have available. I'm going to show you a couple different practice plans that we use. Now, understand first of all of our kids go both ways. You could adapt one of these if your kids only go one way. If you have enough coaches for that, then you can certainly adapt any of these to do that. However, I'm not going to focus on that because the vast majority of us do not. Most of us don't have that ability to make that happen. So the first practice plan we're looking at is a split practice plan, and what that means is that we're going to be doing offense and defense. So you can see here, we keep our practice plans in Google Drive, and they're shared with all the coaches. Every coach can go in and edit them. It makes it really easy to do. We just keep a consistent template, and we just copy from week to week and adjust our practice plan. We've got a template for each one of these that we can go into, and it adapts and adjusts as we need to throughout the year. You're just never going to get to do your practice plan exactly the way you want every day, even if you had an indoor facility. I don't know if it's possible. So this is week one, and it was actually, this was our, I believe, Labor Day practice. Yeah, Monday, September 1st. So it's a 2-hour practice, but it's a split practice, meaning that we're practicing both offense and defense that day. So our practice starts out at 5 o'clock on this particular day. Normally it would be 3, but it's pretty consistent. We go 3 to 5, 5:15 most days, or 3, actually about a little bit later, about 3:30 to 5:35, 5:45 most days, 6 o'clock at the latest usually. So we're going to start out at 5 o'clock on this particular day. That's practice start time with a pre-practice period. We started this year using a pre-practice period where it's a light warm up. There's no heavy contact. It's just something to get guys going. In this case, we did a kick drill where we just kicked on a line, that kick for speed, make sure we stay over top. The P in parentheses was originally meant to show the practice tempo. We have rules, as most of you do, about how much contact we can have during the week. So just, I started putting, the practice tempo on each one of my drills to show that, it's practice tempo, or it is teach tempo, which is basically walk through, or if it's live, to keep track of how much time we were using. So these are, almost everything we do is a practice tempo. We very rarely are in a live drill, especially in individuals, up until we get into our group. And then when we get our 9v9, it's going to be thud live, mostly thud, but live tempo in those situations. We're not tackling to the ground almost anywhere other than team. And even then, it's usually a quick whistle. So the first period is kick on a line, 5 minutes. The second period, you see we use 5-minute periods. The second period is a mirror drill. And then the third period is push-pull. So I like to use the early part of practice. I like to use pre-practice for a lot of pass pro footwork. I think that's a good place to put it because it's obviously limited contact, but also it's just a nice way to warm up and get started. We go to a team meeting and warm up. Our warm up is about 6 minutes. We've shortened it and shortened it and shortened it, had fewer and fewer injuries, seemingly the shorter we go. So we do a very, very short team warm up, more for the team aspect than anything else. Just to come together, like it says here, team meeting. Our coach will speak. Our head coach will speak very briefly, address anything that needs to be addressed. We jump into our warm-up lines. We have a very quick warm-up, and then we're back into our individual groups. So here, 5:30, and then we'll jump into a water there. Obviously, it's September 1st. It's the state of Virginia. It's hot. We go get a quick water. So then we're going to, and it's 5-minute water break. That's pretty rare. It's usually makeup time and things like that. We just get them a splash if we need to. But sometimes we'll let them go over there and take time and relax, especially in these hot days. Block on boards, pull and kick, pull and wrap. That takes 5 minutes to do both. It's important that you get out and set these up ahead of time, not the boards. I have our kids lay the boards out. They actually sit on top of our chutes, which pretty much just keep the boards from warping. We don't use them. I don't use them very much. A D-line coach might. But with block on boards, pull and kick, I'll make sure to have the bags already set out. Mixed cycle is something we do that came from our speed training for Dale Basquette, but this was an opportunity for me to use our cage drill. So it's basically a football specific, but also working a lot of our speed training. So for the offensive line, a lot of times that'll be good for like screen blocking, getting downfield type of things. Or I'll do some different combinations of a post and a kick, post and kick footwork with them there. Then we worked our 2-on-2 zone. we worked our 2-on-2 stretch in our group period. This is offensive group. So we've only got 10 minutes of specifically for indies, but we had 3 O indie periods beforehand. So I've really got 5 O indie periods to work with here. A lot of times I will use this 7-on-7 period to do pass pro, but I already done pass pro during the pre-practice. A lot of times during pre-practice later in season, this is week 1, but later in season, I'll be doing correction during a large chunk of that pre-practice, especially the offensive pre-practice, because it's our first practice. It's Monday. So we're doing correction from games. But we did 2-on-2 zone, 2-on-2 stretch on this particular day, working both of those drills. And then we go to our 9v9. A 9v9 is going to be very rapid fire. We're going to get, in 10 minutes, we're going to get probably 30 reps. Basically what we do is we line up a defense that we want to see. And if there's 2 fronts we need to see, we'll line up both of them, but usually it's 1 front. So this particular week, it was probably a 4-2-5. We lined up our scout team in a 4-2-5. And our head coach, who's also our offensive coordinator, is basically calling from the line. Now, we wristband our guys, but in this particular series, in this particular set, I don't even think they have wristbands on this early in the week a lot of the times. So it's just literally power right. He'll call the formation, pro 2, power right, pro 2, counter left, pro 3, truck left, pro 3, truck right, whatever we want to run. We're going to go through in rapid fire and try to get as many reps as we can. This is great to film because you're going to see great footwork. It is a live, but it is all inside run, so we wouldn't run truck probably. But it's mainly inside run, but so we're going to get power, counter, zone, even some stretch because we don't consider the corners to be a major issue there most of the time. We'll get all those inside run plays done in that 9v9, and we will get them fast, rapid fire. We go to team offense, and team offense is, here it's put in there, we're going to run power read, power pass, counter pass, stretch pass, our lightning. Those are just reminders for our head coach, the things that he wanted to make sure we got. I guarantee we ran more than that. It is not scripted. And I'll just add something here. We used to script everything. Our previous offensive coordinator, who moved on to an athletic director position, found that, and he was really big into scripting everything and really prepared. But he felt like it started to hurt him in terms of in-game calling because he was so used to having a script that he, making sure that he ran everything he needed to run, that he wasn't really prepared to call everything in-game. So we're calling a little bit of setting up, looking at what the defense is doing. It's the scout team, but, I don't know the exact, I don't call the offensive plays. Defensively, I script everything. I at least script what the offense is going to run defensively so that we see everything. But offensively, it is not scripted. We go to another water break, come out of the water break, and for us, we don't want to go too long without the defense getting any work. So this was a split practice with probably an offensive focus just because we did pre-practice with the offense. The next day would be a split practice just like this, but with the defense in pre-practice. So we go to our defensive D indies, D group, which was a 9v9. I don't like to take a ton of practice time, and I'm the defense coordinator, so I don't. We're pretty close on periods here, but I don't do a ton of stuff. So we had 2 indies, 2 group, really a third group. We had a mixed cycle for defense. Then we had a third group, which is our team pursuit drill, and a team defense. And then we were probably into the weight room. See, we didn't change the time here, but we probably went into actually Labor Day, we got them out at 7. So that's a split practice for us. Very similar, though, when we go, this was during actually a scrimmage week. We were going to be playing a 30 stack team this particular week. And so this is an offensive focus. This is August 18th practice. But we do it, we get into our last scrimmage, we prepare it just like a game. So we were post and kick. See, I like to do a lot of pass pro. We worked our post and kick footwork. What this was a post 2 kick. We posted to the right, kicked back to the left, and then did it the other way, getting everybody a rep each way. Then we had to fix our alley screen. We weren't getting to the right guys out there on our alley screen. We actually had to fix our release. And then we had some corrections on our down blocks, on our down calls when we needed to make our down calls because in the scrimmage before we didn't do it right. We did not make a 3-2 box call and a 5-0 call with our pass pro. So we were able to just, review our calls in pre-practice. So good time. That's a teach period. This would be practice tempo, teach tempo, and again, teach tempo. Team meeting and warm up, water break. You can see this particular practice started at 4 and goes till 6:05. So another 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes practice. Team meeting and warm up, water break. And then this is an O focused day. So we're going to have more individual time. We had block on boards. We had pull and kick. Now remember, this is all offensive focus. The next day will be defensive focus. So I won't have hardly any time the next day. So I don't get this came out to something like 40 minutes. For us, it came out to, 25, 35, 45, 25, 35, 45, like 50 minutes of indies. That's it for the week, basically. Now I'll get about 15 to 20 minutes maybe on Wednesday, but I won't get any I won't get much at least on Tuesday, maybe 10 minutes if I'm lucky. But we got block on boards. This is a typical getting everything done. Pull and kick, pull and wrap. Again, the post kick pull cage, which is what I love to do during mixed cycle. Getting that cage drill in because we were working on alley screen, so we came back and worked the cage drill. We worked our down block drill. We worked our 2-on-2 zone and stack. Obviously, only working it for about 2.5 minutes each way. We didn't get as much reps. I can almost promise you I took a couple minutes out of the water break, got him over to water, came back, hit a mirror slide during 7-on-7, hit our mirror slide drill, and then hit our 1-on-1s. Getting that 1-on-1 pass pro for 5 minutes, getting everybody at least 1 or 2 reps of 1-on-1s. Sometimes I will take the entire offensive line during this period and put them in front of the quarterback for 7-on-7, and we will do our 1-on-1 drill, as I mentioned before. We got 9v9, again, getting reps. I love to film that. It's a great way to look at their footwork and make sure they're not getting lazy on their footwork because we might run power right 8 times during that period. Make sure they're not getting lazy and make sure we did it right once. We did it right 5, 6, 7, 8 times. We got our team offense. This was early in the season, so we're just looking at inside zone and stretch, truck, power, counter, our base plays, hitting them all. Make sure make sure that we like to put in what the focus is going to be early on, especially to make sure that if we have any review period that we're talking about it, that we're mentioning it. I hit all the skills for those particular plays up here during our individuals, make sure we're good with them. From there, if we have a kickoff period, now I coach our long snappers, and I'm going to take as much time as possible with our long snappers, so I don't pull the offensive line aside very often, not as much as I used to, because I think our long snappers are very important. So this was a PAT protect day, so I would have been working with the offensive line on PAT protection. It was a kickoff return day, so I would have been working with the offensive line during that period. Working with the long snappers during that period. If I can, I'll get, once the long snappers know what they need to do, I'll start pulling the offensive line off to the side here and there, just getting, steal an extra 5 or 10 minutes of work. The rest of the practice was a defensive individual, which was just our team tackling circuit, and then a mixed cycle for defense. So that is a full day, basically, of offensive line. It was an hour and 25 minutes. I guess if you count the water, an hour and 30 minutes of team offense or an offensive practice, and then 20 minutes of special teams, and then 15 minutes of defensive work getting in there as well. So that's our 2 basic practice structures. Again, you can see what we're working. We're working the drills that we talk about. If there's something that needs to be corrected, that's a special drill, that's not one that's one of our main drills, it's probably going to happen during the pre-practice at least once before it gets worked into our main sessions here. These sessions are much more intense. The pre-practice are not quite as intense. Sometimes we'll do them, especially in those hot days, we'll do them with helmets off or even without our shoulder pads on before we jump in to our full practice period. Now, none of them are really, you can see none of this is like live contact type stuff. We don't get any live contact until our 1-on-1s are pretty physical, and then our 9v9 will be our first really live up front session, even if it's not tackling to the ground.